There you are, and here we are.
Here we are. So this is Essential TV talking about The Walking Dead.
I'm Roddy McInnes.
Luke Watson, thanks for joining us.
We have people already on Periscope.
That's what I like to see.
Yeah, as we've said before, guys, as soon as we're live on Periscope and Facebook, please chime in, get in contact with us, say what you want, we'll reply to you in real time. It's that sort of magic.
I actually enjoyed The Walking Dead last night, bro says.
So did I. I really enjoyed it. I'm a big fan. Eugene is one of my favorite characters. The more screen time he gets, the better.
Eugene is the key, bro says. New Jersey in the house, John C. Danzo, our neighbor across the river.
Hello from the UK person on Facebook, Kelly Rebecca Patterson. Yes,
all right.
Indeed.
Anyway, so this episode was season 7, episode 11. And what's the official name? Hostiles and Calamities. Or as I like to call it, Eugene gets into a pickle.
That's a good name, the alternate name for the episode.
If you've not seen this episode yet, don't watch us.
Spoilers. All the spoilers.
There will be spoilers. So anyway, I just want to start with, first of all, let's thank Luca Signorelli for the sweet metal theme.
Oh, was that who that is?
That's the artist, Luca Signorelli. Look him up. We'll post his link, but he does the Walking Dead metal theme, which is incredible.
Available on ringtone, apparently. I would imagine so.
Remember when things were available on ringtone?
Yeah, I remember getting a phone. I was so psyched that I could just download things to be my ringtone.
I can pay for a ringtone? Awesome.
You know how dorky I was when I was younger? Evanescence. Remember that one song they had? That was my ringtone.
That was a big ringtone.
It was for like a year. Alien Ant Farm as well.
Smooth Criminal?
Yeah, that one. But I had that when it was just like still binary notes.
Right.
On like the old Nokia.
I'd like to change my ringtone to actually be the old terrible Nokia notes. That No, just like an actual song, like a modern song that sounds terrible.
I'm sure you can download a program for it. Right, crack on.
Anyway, first and foremost, I want to ask you, the viewer at home, do you like Eugene? Because I feel like Eugene is a very divisive character, and I've seen a lot of complaints about him since the very beginning. He's a little absurd. Yeah. That's what I like about him. I'm a Eugene fan.
His speech patterns alone are the best thing ever. I do not currently have access to that level of produce, but with it,
he has a way with words.
Yeah, this dude rocking about, speaking like that with his vocabulary, with a Tennessee top hat, with a mullet,
Mississippi mud flap.
Party in the front, party in the back, business in the front.
Okay, and Chelsea says, I never used to like him, but I'm liking him more and more. So, okay, those of you who love Eugene, did you used to hate him? You can admit it.
Yeah, hello, Wild Vampire,
yes,
you're back again.
I love Eugene. How can you not like the best hustler on The Walking Dead, S.U. Jag says. There he is.
That's a good point.
All his glory.
I honestly think he's playing a sneaky long-term game. It was once this scene got finished, he was walking away and he had a coy little smile on his face. I think he's planning something.
You know, I'd like to think so. I think that Eugene he's a scam artist.
Sure.
Right? But he's a survivor.
He has this backstory that he reels out at the drop of a hat of how he worked on the Human Genome Program.
And Bro says, I never hated him, was indifferent to him, but love him now.
Of course.
And Chelsea says he's playing a massive carol on all of us. So I think the thing about Eugene is that he's a coward through and through, or he has been historically. And he came up with this Human Genome. I'm a scientist.
Cover project.
One of 12 members of the Human Genome Project.
Under the jurisdiction of a black box operation, I could not tell you. With your, yeah.
So that was his backstory, and he used that to sucker Abraham into protecting him. And now he's fallen back into that routine. But I think that while he did it to survive initially, and I think that the instinct to say it again to Negan was, just to survive.
It was a knee-jerk reaction.
I think he's starting to learn by the end of the episode, I can actually, I have some power and I can do something.
It's a very cunning way of playing possum. He sort of renders himself no, how could I possibly?
How could this guy be a threat?
I'm not a threat in the slightest.
He's business up front, he's party in the back. Everyone likes that guy.
Yeah, I think it's all a long con, really. As I like in the common vernacular now is I'm playing a massive carol on all of us, as Chelsea Walsh said.
Yep.
I want that to be a phrase from now on when you're tricking someone, playing a carol. Yeah, I don't think he's a coward anymore. I think he is. I think that's his go-to kind of default reaction because he's not the biggest of guys. He's not the most physical, and he's not the most possessed of bravado. But I think that's
physical ability.
I think having been with the group for so long, I don't think it's really, he's not as scared as he used to be.
No, he's become a true survivor, not just a survivor in the sense that he basically scammed everyone into survival. Hello to Pauline in France.
Marty Petrie Davis says he's smart though. I think he's playing Negan in a different sense than he played Abraham. Yeah, no, that's...
I don't think he intended to at first.
No.
But I think by the end of the episode he gets it. So I just want to talk about Eugene's experience at the Sanctuary, the Savior compound, versus Daryl's.
Yeah, wonderful. I've stayed in worse hotels.
Negan gave him a sweet bachelor pad.
Oh yeah. Have some of my wives for the evening.
And it was so obvious the difference of how Negan was looking at a Eugene who was not a threat, potentially all benefit, Dr. Sparty Pants.
Dr. Sparty Pants.
The second that Eugene goes to the boombox and turns on Easy Streets playing, and he's just like...
Yeah, he's bopping along to it.
Bopping along.
Which, yeah, he didn't get...
Daryl was not bopping.
No, he was not. He was crying and clawing at the walls. This is the thing. You had a theory long ago that their Fat Joey was their kind of handyman guy.
Fat Joey was their Smarty Pants.
Yeah, and now
He was their MacGyver.
spoilers, dead. If you haven't watched it, why are you watching this? He's dead. And now Skinny Joey's just called regular Joey, and ain't that a damn shame?
It's a damn shame.
It is a damn shame.
John C. Danso says Breaking Eugene or Walking Bad. We'll see. We'll see.
Okay, switching words hasn't rendered itself anything.
Well, I think that eventually, if Eugene becomes a badass, it's Breaking Eugene.
Yes, Breaking Eugene.
They don't really flow.
No, they don't. They're as
it's a noble
spin-offs
effort.
of it. Yeah, AMC spin-offs.
So I did like another thing about this episode that showed sort of the power that Eugene has, where he goes from Mr. Wizard to Dr. Kevorkian, where he's showing the girls magic tricks.
Yeah.
And then the next thing is like, hey, by the way, can you
make us poison?
Can you make us poison?
Yeah, it's this woman. She wants to kill herself.
Skill set.
There was. They don't make mention to it, but there's apricots there, and he's all clearly cut them open and taken out the apricots. He's to extract the cyanide. Is it?
You can learn a lot from The Walking Dead.
You can. How to kill tyrants in one easy
Between
pill.
The Walking Dead and Breaking Bad, if you ever wanted to poison someone,
You've got it covered. Was it Lily of the Valley?
yeah.
Yeah, that is used in Breaking Bad. Yeah. Anyway, carry on.
Anyway, yes, it was
Arsenic.
peaches.
Gratefully aware. You're right. It is arsenic from the apricot seeds.
So I liked how. One question I had: did you think that when the girls were asking Eugene to make poison, did you think it was a test?
That had crossed my mind, actually. That's the sort of thing that Negan would do. He would send in some of his more loyal partners.
Yeah, and Carrie is thinking exactly the same thing. I was so nervous that Negan put the girls up to it and he was going to get ironed.
Yeah, that had crossed my mind. I don't know. I think it's one of those things that we'll either find out or it'll be let go. I don't think it was. I think that it's an act of desperation to want poison to kill.
Well, I think because there were the two girls and then the third that was obviously distraught the whole time.
She wanted out.
Story checks out.
Which is the right kind of attitude towards that. This is hellish. Why would I want to be here?
Right. And I like how Eugene figured it out. That why do you want to?
Yeah.
You're going to kill Negan.
Yeah.
And he didn't go with it.
No, he didn't. Which is, I think, sensible because he wants to stay there. I think he has a long game, and doing anything like that would, I think, ruin his long game.
Jeopardize
the end goal.
And he's doing some recon work. And
he is.
I hope.
This, I'm not entirely too sure where he is in the comics. I kind of read up to a certain point and then didn't read past it. Do you know anything about where he is?
I don't. I'm not not as far along.
Because this looks like they're setting him up for a grand sacrifice.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
That Eugene, my sense is that actually the Sanctuary and Negan and the Saviors are actually good for Eugene, where they will force him to man up.
Yeah.
Right? To grow a backbone, to become a hero, and naturally, when that happens, the next thing that happens is he sacrifices himself.
They had to get Daryl out of there though, because if Daryl dies, people riot. Exactly. So they had to switch him out with Eugene.
If Eugene dies,
we riot. Hashtag that right now.
Right. Or if he gets a haircut. Let's see.
Marty P. Davis, yes, I did, and I'm still not sure that they weren't a test, especially when they made Eugene watch while they burned the doctor. Yeah, where's the thing?
We'll get to Dwight and the doctor.
Negan's, it's reigned by chaos. It's ordered chaos, but I'm not sure it's thought that far ahead. I think it's just one of those things that Eugene was forced to watch as a matter of principle.
Well, it was a dose of reality. It was important. I think that is when he changed his mind about the poison.
Yeah.
He gets it, and also whether it was, okay, this is the harsh reality of this situation, or I have much to learn about my environment.
Oh yeah.
Either way, it made sense.
Can't be jeopardizing it, no.
So let's, that's Eugene.
Yep.
We love Eugene. I'm glad that everyone's on the same page now. And we have one question here. What do you think about the smirk Eugene did after he arrived at the compound, ticking time bomb?
That's the thing. I think it's a long game. I think it's he knows he's getting away with it. He can talk himself out of a situation with Negan. Speaking of, did he throw those pills away? Asked Jujag alum, SU Jag alum.
I don't know. Did anyone see? I don't think they showed what happened with the pills.
Well, this is the thing. Who is it that said if you show a gun in the first act, it will be used in the second?
I believe that was one of the Olsen twins.
One of the Olsen twins, the great literature philosophers.
Right.
Fashionistas. Yeah, they'll come back into play with Eugene becoming more manly and stepping up, where he talks down to the supply lady. That's a prime example of how he's growing as a person, growing as a...
I love that he realized the authority that he possesses there, which makes me worry that the sanctuary and this newfound sense of authority and power will go to his mulleted head, and he might say, you know what, this isn't so bad.
I could take control.
I am Negan.
I am Negan. I was Negan before I met you.
Right.
You're not Negan. I am.
You had me at Negan.
You had me at Negan. No, this is the thing. I don't think that's in his character. I think his loyalty still lies with
the group.
The group. It's
gratefully aware says absolute power will corrupt Eugene.
Absolutely.
I would love to just project that storyline forward a few seasons where Eugene poisons Negan, takes over the sanctuary, and he really does become Negan.
He becomes Negan. If someone could do a drawing or some sort of art of Eugene as Negan with the red scarf and the baseball bat. Yes, I will pay money for that, quite frankly.
Right, we will get to, let's move along to Dwight, because Pauline asked where Sherry is. SU Jagalum is asking about the last scene with he and Dwight.
Bro MW90 pointed out, just random said, remember when Eugene was watching Abraham and Rosita? Yeah,
yes, we remember that.
He's got some weird tastes, Eugene.
So here's Dwight. So we all agree that we like Eugene now. Do you like Dwight?
It's not that I like Dwight, it's that I don't hate him as much as before. He was always a sympathetic character, and
gratefully aware, nope.
Nope, all right.
Nope, don't like that guy.
No, the whole character arc of that is, he's just, you feel bad for him to have been subjected to that. Like the complete breakdown of your character by this monster. You feel bad for him, you have to. And now his girls run away.
You can feel bad for him and still not like him though. And I'm having a hard time. I know what the show's trying to do.
Yeah.
And Pauline says he's an interesting character. He is, I think, an interesting character. The dynamic between he and his former wife and current Negan wife, Sherry, is interesting. But I'm not really feeling...
Oh no, he's gonna die.
I'm not feeling it.
He has to die. He's one of these people that has to get shot in the head.
Says, I don't like him, but I don't hate him.
There you go. I don't like him, I don't hate him. I don't think I'm as emotionally invested in the character as I should be.
I like the way that through the notes that Sherry left, she reveals, what she said exactly is, I let Daryl go because he reminded you of who you used to be, and I wanted you to be able to forget. So at this point, Sherry has basically given up on him, I think, and moved on.
That sounds like a get out on my part. I freed him so that you could be. No, I just wanted to stop having sex with Negan. I'm out.
Yeah. Rose says he has sacrifice written all over him, and SU Jagalum says I'm more interested in him now, though. Yeah, me too. I'm more interested. I still just don't particularly like the dude.
No.
As a character, and I like bad guys generally in this show. Oh, and Carrie says, either going to die or get the other half of his face toasted. So that brings me to the next thing. Whenever he was framing the poor doctor and the doctor was getting toasted, were you guys thinking, oh man, they're going to have to do makeup on both sides of this guy's face?
Yeah. No, the budget didn't have the constraint.
I thought about it. I'm like,
No, well, I don't understand why he got rid of the doctor, because that's a really important...
You don't kill the doctor.
No, not at
How
all.
many doctors are there left in the world?
A handful, at best.
You do like the end of Breaking Bad with Jesse Pinkman with the white supremacists where they just chain him up to in a meth lab.
Yeah.
You just chain up the doctor and you make him, give you a
Chelsea
checkup.
also points, why did Dwight carelessly get rid of the doctor? A lack of forethought, I think. Because people are going to...
It was better him than me.
Oh, yeah.
Because he might, in the long term, you might want a doctor, but if you're dead,
you're not going to get the benefit of the doctor. But no, my point is why Negan wouldn't have... Maybe like no exceptions can be made and everyone has to suffer the consequences for stepping out of line.
Negan thinks with his heart and not with his head.
He thinks with his bat.
He thinks
with Lucille.
Lucille makes
which we have here. Because he thinks he has Eugene, says Kerry Rebecca Patterson. But what can Eugene do? He's got a couple of magic tricks. But
not all doctors are alike, though. That's the other thing. Just because you're Dr. Smarty Pants doesn't mean that you are...
You're not Dr. Smarty Pants, MD.
Exactly.
Like the administering of drugs and healthcare and that. Frame one of the other wives, says Chelsea. That could possibly have happened.
Maybe.
I don't...
Frame the one that already wanted to die, and then it's like you're doing her a favor.
Death by Negan. It's like suicide by cop. Suicide by Negan.
Carrie says, I feel like Sherry killed herself. I don't think she killed herself, but she certainly is at a point where she's willing to risk death.
She doesn't care anymore. She's over it. She's over the Negan.
She's over it. She's had her fling with Negan. And,
her fling with Negan. I don't think that's the way I'd describe it, quite frankly. Her fling with Negan.
Says. So anyway, Dwight and Eugene at the end of the episode, when they're standing there.
Yeah.
Ben, do you have that? Do you have that picture of Dwight and Eugene at the end? They're standing there, and Eugene. There they are. I like that Eugene is wearing sort of it's a short trench coat, but it's kind of a trench coat, because if you're Eugene, you do two things. You play Atari, and you think, if I were a badass villain, what would I dress like?
I'd dress, and I'd have this thing, which I'm taking this to, I'm calling it a grundlebug, or something.
So I did like this scene where you put these two, and they're both Negan, but they're both, as far as we know, they're in the same boat. They're reluctantly Negan, except it seems like Eugene is much cooler with it.
Yeah, he's sort of growing into the role of Negan. I like how he just said it offhandedly as well. It kind of caught Dwight slightly off guard. And we're Negan.
Yep.
yeah, we are. Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Negan.
Yeah.
My name's Negan.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Yeah, cool.
Eugene will become Lord of War.
The Lord of War. He can make bullets after all. John Stamos. John Stamos, spelled S-T-A-Y-M-O-S-E. That's the best name. Well done. You're my favorite.
Never change.
Never change, Don Stamos.
All right. So I liked we had, at the beginning of the season, we had an episode that was Dwight and Daryl centric, and it was just so gloomy. It was such a bummer of an episode. That was the Easy Street episode.
Yeah.
And I liked the Eugene and Dwight vibe.
It was upbeat.
It was a good counterbalance.
Yeah, I felt happy about the episode.
It was so much better to have those two than to have just down and downer.
Yeah, this is the thing. I'll watch Eugene do anything. I'll watch that actor eat a bowl of cereal because it's going to be hilarious.
It will be hilarious. I believe you owe me some Fruit Loops. So yeah, I liked that. But one thing that brings me to the next point is the more we spend time with the Saviors, the more we get to know Dwight and see how Eugene can so quickly become Negan. Even we got the sense with Fat Joey, he's just doing his job. He's Eugene.
He was simply following orders.
He's Eugene without the mullet.
Yeah.
And you start to understand that these are just other people, and maybe the Saviors aren't so bad. Negan might be.
Oh yeah, he's a tyrant. He's an horrible tyrant. But the fact that so many people have come together and actually are listing and cohabitating in a viable way is
it's
kind of impressive.
It's kind of impressive.
Yeah.
They have a system.
It's a horrible system that takes advantage of everyone else.
Negan is, he recognizes the value of
people.
Skills.
Yeah.
People with knowledge and skills.
He collects smart people. That's
smart people.
A genius way of doing things.
A lot of tyrants are threatened by smart people.
Not him. Nope. He brings them into the fold.
He gets it.
Breaks them down and gives them an Atari.
Exactly. So I wanted to talk about who are the best of the worst. Who are the worst villains in The Walking Dead.
Right.
And so we have a list. We have
Yes,
a countdown. Ben, do you have our list ready? First and foremost is an easy one. The walkers, right?
Yep.
I put them out there first because they're the first thing you would think with a show like The Walking Dead. It is a zombie show.
They're more of an existential threat at this point in time. They're just kind of there in the background.
Yeah, they're like a force of nature. I don't think of them as villains. And Bro
says the walkers don't
count, which is why we're putting them out there right now.
It's the fact that they go out, they do something, then all of a sudden, oh yeah, there's zombies here as well. We should probably do something about that, shouldn't we?
So anyway, I just wanted to put those out there.
Yeah.
Let's move on to someone, and this is an oldie but a goodie. Mm-hmm. Do you remember Ed?
I do.
AKA Mr. Carroll?
Yes, Mr. Carroll.
Way back in season 1.
He is the reason that Carol is a psychotic killing machine.
In many ways, he held her back for many years, obviously. Yeah. Ed, AKA Dick, Bro says. And when he was dispatched, first of all, when Shane beats the crap out of him, that was very powerful. And then when he gets eaten, that was rewarding. Smiley Lova 81 says Carol would destroy him.
Oh no, yeah, Carol eat him for breakfast.
Oh yeah.
You don't fuck with Carol. Carol's a badass of the highest order.
And
you don't mess with Carol.
You know, I think maybe it's that being repressed for so long. So there's Ed. Honorable mention goes way back.
Yep.
Next one, another season 1 throwback, the Vatos.
The Vatos.
Do you remember them? This was an episode.
I do not.
This episode was called Vatos. It was the 4th episode.
I don't remember that.
It's the episode where Glenn gets abducted because Glenn is always in harm's way.
All right, yeah.
And they find these guys and they think, oh, this is a badass group that we have to tangle with.
That guy on the right, if you put the picture back up.
Yep, we can see him.
Yeah, that guy on the right, he was in Bruce Almighty. He is always cast as Hispanic thug number 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Always number 3?
Always number 3. He's the one that the monkey climbs up.
And someone said, when my nephew got me into The Walking Dead, he said, it's not about the zombies. And that's what I always tell people who haven't watched the show. But I thought that this episode showed what the show could be, because this group they seem like they're going to be a threat. They seem like a badass gang. Turns out they're just protecting an old folks' home.
Yeah.
And so they actually were just people that were trying to protect their own.
Yeah.
Not only trying to protect their own, but they adopted people that couldn't take care of themselves.
Laudable in a certain way.
So I liked them. They weren't really villains.
No, you couldn't even give them the classification of villains then.
They were actually heroes.
Yeah, good for you, Vatos. Well done.
Good for you. And I wish we would have seen you again, but we only get that one episode. It was Frank Darabont was planning to go back to them in season 2, but then Frank Darabont was kicked from the show.
Yeah.
The showrunner. So I like to assume that they and their old folks are just chilling.
Yeah, they're having a good time.
What could possibly go wrong? So. The next on our list...
Rebecca Patterson says, I cannot help but love Negan. Yeah, but that's because he looks like Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
That's true.
He is... I mean, I wouldn't, but I can see the appeal of him, quite frankly. I can see the appeal of Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
And Bro has an up note. That gang, the old folks, are all dead and eaten.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would say...
Walker Chow.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, no, you can't help but love Negan because he's charismatic and he's sexy. I'm okay to say that. I would say,
say that. Yeah. It's a universal truth.
Would you be a Negan wife?
Depends on what the alternative is.
Death.
Oh, man. You could do worse.
You could do worse. He'd dress you up in a little pretty dress.
That's right.
Would you wear the pretty dress for Negan?
If it's my size.
If it's your size and it's tasteful.
I don't want to look ridiculous.
They're not giving you too much cleavage.
No cleavage.
Right. So.
Tasteful.
What about if it cuts off at the thigh right there? Little low cut, blue strappy number.
I'll have to try it on.
You'd have to try it on.
Yes, and he killed Glenn, though, Ben Morrison reminds us. Yes, remind yourself every time you think, oh, that guy's funny, and handsome, he killed Glenn.
Yes, he did. All right.
So the next on our list are the barflies, as I like to call them. And do you remember these guys? This was season 2.
Vaguely. There's been so much Walking Dead since.
One episode, this is during the whole farm thing, when Herschel has this crisis of faith, and they run into the barflies, as I call them. And it was the first, the show almost never runs into other people in the early seasons. This was like the first group they ran into after the Vatos. And and that is...
Bro, MW90, you're right. Rick did owned them.
Yes, he did.
He did.
And this was a... John points out Jenner from the CDC.
All right.
I wouldn't call him a villain, although you could classify that.
He did try and kill them with a grenade, though, didn't he?
Well, not with the grenade. He was going to blow up self... He was trying to do them a mercy.
Oh, right, because they are the Walking Dead.
We are the Walking.
We are Walking Dead.
But anyway, these guys
they get squished
quickly killed them. But that was the first sense we got that there are other groups out there, and some of the bad guys, the people that don't really care, will probably be survivors. Yeah. So they were important in setting things up. And that's a really amazing actor. He's in True Blood. He's in Once Upon a Time. I really like that guy. His name is Michael Raymond James. Yeah. And I was very disappointed that he didn't last longer than one episode.
Oh, they didn't know what they had at the time.
Nope.
Clearly.
All right, so the next one is the prisoners.
Right, the people they find in the prison.
So you read the comics of the prison, right?
They are a much more interesting bunch in the prison, in the books rather.
Right.
They have a psychotic killer amongst them. They're painted as just normal guys.
Normal prisoners.
Yeah, normal run-of-the-mill prisoners.
Yeah.
In the graphic novels, they're a far more interesting bunch. I was sad to see they didn't actually make more.
This was when the show was in the midst of another showrunner shakeup.
All right.
And I think that what happened was whatever plans there were for these characters just got quickly eliminated.
Yeah.
And it's very disappointing because when they ran into these prisoners, there was so much potential and totally just...
Especially from a redemption point of view, because they could be people that have been put into prison for some reason or other, but
they just became cannon fodder.
Yeah, in this post-apocalyptic world, they're given a second chance. It could have been an excellent...
And the only one that did
which actually a couple of them do
was Axel. He gets to last a little bit longer, but then...
Yeah. Promptly, swiftly exited.
Yeah, and they were all gone. As quickly as we met them, they were gone. So this is one of my biggest regrets in the history of the show, that they didn't do more. I say my regret as if it's my responsibility.
Yeah.
But I really, if you could go back and do a do-over, I think the prisoners, there was so much potential, like in the comic books. We will get, I see some good recommendations, Dawn, Gareth, and Shane.
Yeah, we can actually just skip ahead.
We're not doing chronological.
No.
Okay, real quick, just another one that missed opportunity, the Wolves.
Yeah, they could
set them up.
They did, and that guy who then went on to play the Mad Hatter in Gotham,
he was great.
I may be the only, you and I may be the only people watching Gotham still. He is.
I love Gotham.
I love that guy. He was an excellent addition. I think they should have done more with the Wolves.
They should have done more with the Wolves. Again, it was a wasted opportunity. They set them up, and then
all went horribly wrong.
The miss was the Wolves, as Hugh Jaglum says. I would say they're only slightly less a miss than the Prisoners, because at least the Wolves had that one really badass episode where Carol kills them all.
Comes in dressed just in the poncho kind of thing and just shoots everyone in the face.
Yes, dressed as a wolf. Carol in wolf's clothing. And Ben, our Periscope, can you pull it up on the AirPlay? So the next one I have is Dawn in the Hospital. AKA back when Beth was abducted and... Oh yeah,
this I'd completely forgotten about this.
Totally forgettable, but they spent a lot of time setting it up.
Yeah,
I feel like the show does this.
I didn't care enough about Beth, really. And she died, I'm like, oh, it's sad, and Daryl's sad, and she has weird feelings for Daryl, and oh, no.
But it was one of those things where I feel like all these people were like, oh no, I'm going to quit the show if they kill Beth. It's like,
no, you're not.
Since when do we care about Beth?
Not.
And John Danzo says Dawn got what she deserved.
Yes, she did.
Carrie says, OMG, I hated her.
And bringing back these people that you completely forgot that you actively disliked. Yeah, she was horrible.
All right, Ben, if you can hear us, can you bring up the Periscope on the AirPlay? Because I can't see your Periscope comments. I'm not trying to ignore you.
Yeah.
I am forced to ignore you.
You're forced to ignore you. Yeah, next would be the Claimers.
The Claimers are next.
That's the ones that adopt Daryl for a couple of episodes.
Yes, Claimer Joe there, and I did like their episodes.
Is Beth really dead, says Pauline. There are some theories.
Thanks, Ben. Yes, Beth is dead.
Beth is dead. She just unilaterally is dead.
Listen, she had a couple good episodes with Daryl, people. Yeah. That's it, a couple good episodes.
Everyone seems to have their swan song and then just gets written off.
Yeah. They build you up so they can...
Which is why I fear for Eugene somewhat.
Exactly. When they start investing in a character, His days are numbered, or her days are numbered.
Yeah.
So, Carrie says, I'm getting so mad all over again. Over Beth, no doubt.
Go back and rewatch the series. That's what you should do.
The Claimers were great. I love that these guys, Daryl fell in with them, and that was really interesting to me because it showed Daryl's just trying to survive, and he needs to find a group.
This was back before he became Rick's missing right hand.
But that's like right after they reunite, that's when they realize, we are...
Which is, it was a strange choice for Daryl because those are his people, ostensibly.
But he said at least they had a code.
Yeah.
He needs something to rally behind. Keep in mind Daryl's someone who followed Merle around. Like, he's not a leader. He is a follower. He's a powerful follower, but he's a follower.
Oh yeah, he's dedicated. He's very loyal.
He fell in like Eugene has fallen in with the Saviors, as Jag says. Yes.
I don't believe that. I still think Eugene's got a long game here, and I think we're going to see that come to fruition. I don't believe...
I hope so.
Yeah, I think he's enjoying it for what it is right now.
Yeah.
Like, a couple of perks, have a little time off from the misery and existential pain of living in a zombie apocalypse.
Monkey puppet of sorts.
Yeah, why not?
Yar's revenge.
Grumbolo. Yeah, next.
So anyway, moving on to Terminus.
I'd be a cannibal.
Terminus and Gareth.
I would happily be a cannibal, I think, in that.
These guys had a lot going for them, and I think that throughout the series, these were the most... maybe outside of Negan and the Saviors, these are certainly the most well-organized. But the fact that we got to learn their backstory and we saw, okay, they were forced to this. They were happy, kumbaya,
kind of people.
Safety for all.
And then everything went kind of sideways.
Taken advantage of, and this is what happens.
And what they had was
with
all the trail tracks going out, it was like a spider's web that would slowly but surely lure them in prey.
Yeah.
I don't blame them for what they did.
John Stamos' Terminus had the best season opening. I agree. When people talk about the season 6 cliffhanger with Negan's reveal, I always say, and the creators are like, I guess people hate cliffhangers. I say, no. The Terminus cliffhanger was so good. And it didn't make me angry. It just made me look forward to the season premiere. That's how you do a cliffhanger right. And Carrie says the Bob scene was brilliant. Tainted meat, everyone. Tainted meat.
That was originally meant to be... who's the guy that had the RV? Yeah, it was originally meant to be Dale.
That was
in
a
the
swap.
book. Yeah, gets kidnapped by these cannibals and is going to get eaten, and he starts shouting and cursing at them. Interesting switch there because I think Dale was already dead.
We didn't get to the governor yet.
No, we haven't got to the governor yet.
We cannot forget the governor.
So many, right?
We're seeing a lot of good suggestions. We're
going to try and keep this under a half hour this time, which I don't think is already...
We're already 3 minutes over.
We're already 3 minutes over. Right, let's fire through. All right, cut to black.
All right, so I love the termites at Terminus. Now we're to Woodbury and the governor. Okay.
Again, I don't hate him.
I like the governor.
Yeah, he's a guy that's doing horrible things in a really horrible situation.
Again, this is a situation where the comic books and the show are very different.
Yeah.
In the comic books, we've mentioned this before, when the governor is introduced, one of the first things he does is he chops off Rick's right hand. So in the comic books, your main character, Rick, has one hand.
Yep.
This demonstrates this man is a threat. He is a danger. He's evil.
Oh,
and
yeah,
he's
automatically puts you against it. I know he's not as handsome as David Morrissey.
Exactly. David Morrissey, he's a tall, handsome man.
Yeah, in the book,
he looks good in an eye patch.
Long hair, grotty, kind of thin mustached.
More villainous.
Yeah, extremely like archetypical villainous kind of look to him. They did him differently because they needed to make him TV palatable. It's just the way it is.
So when you meet him, what's the most evil thing he does? Like, he's keeping zombie heads in an aquarium?
Yeah.
That's eccentric.
His daughter is still chained up there.
That's not even evil. He loves his daughter.
That's understandable in a certain kind of weird way. What's the worst thing he does?
The worst thing he does...
Kills Herschel?
That's later, though.
Yeah.
That's later. That's after Michonne kills his daughter.
Yeah, well...
I feel like in the show, although he's not a good guy, whenever he executes all those army guys he finds to take their stuff, that demonstrates... Okay, he's out for himself, but
people keep saying Lizzie.
Wasn't that evil. We'll get to Lizzie.
We'll get to Lizzie.
We'll get to Lizzie.
Are we getting to Lizzie? All right.
Lizzie is my favorite.
All right. Yeah. He has a much rougher time of it in the book. In the book, Michonne vaguely neuters him.
Yes.
And tortures him after he kidnaps and tortures her.
In the comic book, he does terrible things to Michonne.
Yeah.
And really deserves what he gets.
Oh, was Lizzie the kid?
Yes.
Yes, right. Sorry, I keep forgetting that she exists. The one that has like his taking apart rats and stuff.
We'll get to Lizzie.
Ah,
Get to Lizzie.
yeah, she's probably just
best.
crazy, which is to be expected if you're living as a child.
Move on to our honorable mentions.
Right.
Shane. These are frenemies. The reason they're honorable mentions is because they're frenemies. They weren't truly villains because they were villains from within.
Sure, they were understandable enemies.
Right. Like Shane in an alternate universe could have been the leader throughout the show.
Yeah.
He would have been the leader throughout the show if Rick had never woken from his coma.
Yeah, he was looking after Rick's wife just fine.
And as seasons go on and time goes on, Shane is repeatedly vindicated because he was ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
He got it.
I don't hate on Shane.
love Shane.
John C. Danzo said is the next one that's actually on the list here. Merle, who
Merle.
is the most fun.
My man Merle.
With his stabby hand.
Yes.
Yeah. I think Merle purely existed to further Daryl's story.
And do you have Merle?
Do we have Merle?
Merle is Michael Rooker. I love Michael Rooker.
Yeah.
I was so excited when they brought him back to the show, when we discovered him in Woodbury, because Michael Rooker is such an incredible actor, and that just the first few episodes with him, so good. So when
Did
he came back,
his going off coincide with him getting Guardians of the Galaxy?
it was about that time,
Yeah.
but I don't think those two things correlated. I think that Michael Rooker was always going to be a very limited time character in The Walking Dead.
All right, let's keep pushing on because
So then I would say there's Nick. There he is. So I'm going to say there's three main Alexandrians I would group together: Aiden, Spencer, the two brothers, Deanna's kids, and Nick. They were just lame.
Yeah.
They're not villains. They didn't get
I don't care enough about them to class them as villains. They just seem like people who got the short end of the stick there.
And so now I want to bring us to one you've all been waiting for. Envelope, please. Envelope, please.
La La Land.
And the answer is La La Land.
Yes.
La La Land.
Or
Oh,
Warren Beatty.
sorry.
I feel.
Oh wait, these are Macy's coupons.
Are they? I feel so bad for Warren Beatty.
Don't feel bad for Warren Beatty. Did you see how good this man looks at like 1,000,000 years old?
Sure, he sleeps in Tupperware clearly, but he's made some deal from some sort of Faustian pact with the devil to look that good. Actually, he passed it off to Faye Dunaway. He's went,
Yeah, you do this.
you.
This is your moment to shine.
Yeah, the guy. Did they let them do the speech? Because I lost interest by that point. My wife was.
Everyone was so flustered.
She's like, the guy rushes. I was like, no, it's Moonlight. I'm not joking. I'm not. Come on.
Good, pretty good. Anyway.
Right, yes, Negan.
Carrie says Rick is like Shane now. Absolutely, Rick has grown into the Shane role. Shane was the prototype. Someone said something about, did Eugene cut his hair? No, Eugene will never.
No, oh no, never
cut his hair.
Never. If Eugene cuts his hair, he loses his powers, like
Just like
Samson.
Samson. Exactly. So, yes, Negan and the Saviors are what most people would say the #1 villains.
Yeah.
The Walking Dead are. And certainly they are being built. From a storyline perspective, they're the most important.
Just for the fact that Negan seems like an insurmountable obstacle. He seems like no matter what you do, he will always go one further than you will.
If Eugene cuts his hair, we riot.
Yeah. If Eugene really is telling the truth, does he have all his degrees? No, he's a chemistry teacher from Georgia.
Right.
He's like a high school chemistry teacher. That's why he comes out with like the balloons full of hydrogen and
So was Walter White.
So was what? Yes, indeed. But he was from New Mexico.
All right. So does Negan have to run for re-election?
I don't think that's how it works in the Negan camp, quite frankly. I think
Two terms and you're out.
Yeah.
Vote for
no.
Eugene. No. So anyway, I just want to point out that I realized as I was writing it, Negan and the Saviors sounds like a Christian surf rock band.
Negan and the Saviors. Do you want to go see
Oh, this
Negan
is
and
the latest
Saviors?
hit from Negan and the Saviors.
At the youth center on a Friday night.
Big Charles Manson, big fan of Negan,
Negan and the Saviors. Right, actually.
Okay, now you wanted this one.
Yes, because I think
I don't understand. I want to understand this.
I believe, is the greatest jeopardy to Rick and Carl. It's Judith, their daughter.
Greatest villain in Walking Dead.
The greatest villain in The Walking Dead is Judith because she is nothing more than a liability. To have a child that can be used as either leverage or zombie fodder.
Which we've seen with Tyrese. That was a great episode.
Yeah, like it's nothing. No benefits come from Judith being there. She is a complete detriment to everyone.
Where Bro says, "Where's Judith now?" We haven't seen.
We don't
her.
know.
We haven't seen her for a season.
They don't care. John Stamos says Judith will seek revenge once she finds out. Yeah, she's definitely a liability.
Even though Eugene told the lie before, I still believed it yesterday. He's convincing.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's incredible. It's because I think he's learned. But yeah, Judith is the biggest.
And Kirby won Benobi, that's good, that Judith is full grown now. I keep waiting for the show to do a major time jump. Maybe it'll happen after this season finale, and Judith to be like not a toddler.
The actual can have, you know,
They need to jump ahead.
lines.
This, first of all, it's been like 9 different babies that have played Judith.
Oh yeah, they keep outgrowing their
It's not a
own.
lie. It's because they get twins and triplets.
Yeah.
Just like the Olsen twins.
What is the thing you have for the Olsen twins?
They just always come up naturally.
Is it every man of your age in America has a thing for the Olsen
It's not even that. It's for Full House.
Yeah, it's for a full house.
John Stamos. John Stamos, you understand.
Olsen twins then or Olsen twins now? Which do you prefer?
I don't even necessarily like the Olsen twins as personas.
Olsen twins circa when they were doing Disney films.
I was too old for that.
You were too old for that?
I watched
You got it, dude.
Yeah.
What?
Ben knows what's up.
Yeah.
Fuller House.
All right.
All right.
Judith is the most horrible. And then finally...
Okay, and this is my number 1. Lizzie.
Yeah.
I saw some Lizzie fans in the chat. Yes, Lizzie, I feel, is the best villain in The Walking Dead because she came out of nowhere, and Carol and Tyrese are trying to protect her. She turns out to be this great threat from within.
Yeah.
Almost kills that liability Judith. Could have killed Carol. Could have killed Micah, her sister. Could have killed any of them. And Carol realizes we have no choice here.
Yeah, we got to put you out of your misery.
This
here.
little serial killer.
She's a victim of the circumstance, though. We put that sort of horror on a child from the age of, what is she there, 7, 8?
Something like that. I would say 8 to 12.
Sure. Yeah, it's going to break a child's mind. She is not a villain. She's a victim of circumstance.
Mnemonic says that was one of the best episodes. I would say it is the best episode. For the record, if you want to go back and rewatch that is season 4, episode 14. It's called The Grove. And I always tell people, if you've never watched The Walking Dead and you'll just watch one episode, this is what the show can be. Every time there's a season that's terrible or a string of episodes that are a huge letdown, I always think, The Grove.
Yeah,
This is
a standalone
the peak.
episode. This
is the peak of the series, and I hope they create new peaks. But this episode, the storytelling, it's self-contained. You've got really, it says everything about this world they live.
It's a beautiful little standalone episode.
And she's such an amazing character in that, and yeah.
Carrie Rebecca Patterson says, if anyone says you don't like The Walking Dead, I tell them to look at the pretty flowers.
Look at the flowers.
Yeah, isn't that what?
Look at the flowers.
Hold on, isn't that what George said to Lenny in Of Mice and Men? Just look at the pretty flowers. Look at the. It's been a while.
Thank you, Kirby One Benobi.
All right.
You're a great guest. Yes, so those are mine. But I think that what I've revealed here, you know, as I was listing these out,
Sure.
the villains that are within are so much more interesting than the external villains. And so, like Lizzie, Merle, Shane, even the prisoners, the potential was squandered, but the villains from within are so much more interesting. And I think now that we have the saviors, it's flipped, the dynamic is flipped because now you've got like a Dwight or a Eugene,
Which is still
who
a
are
villain.
maybe the good within,
Yeah.
villains.
Okay, so we're seeing the best come out in bad people and the worst come out in the best people. Yeah, no, I understand why they're doing that. I'm gonna get bored of Dwight real quick, so he has to die.
I'm already kind of bored of them.
Yep. If Eugene, how do we feel about this episode as a whole? Seeing as this is meant to be a recap of the episode or a review.
Did
of the
you
episode.
guys like this episode of The Walking Dead?
Did we?
You know, because the last 2 episodes I thought were pretty good. And I did not expect 3 episodes in a row to be good. Because 3 episodes in a row for The Walking Dead to be good,
Something's going on there.
well beyond average. Smiley Lova, yes.
Mnemonic says,
yes, I liked it.
Nikita Rafferty loved it. SU
Jag.
Jag alum, yes. All right, yeah. So I think we're going.
So
for the fact
everyone
that
seemed
this
to be into
episode was-
this. And I truly didn't know because I thought, you know, after the last 2 episodes, and it's an episode without Rick,
Yeah.
the fact that they could have an episode carried by Eugene.
Is quite an
people like
impressive
it,
thing.
It's very impressive.
Yeah.
So I hope that The Walking Dead has gotten its groove back.
What was it? Krisha Michelle, Rosita needs to go.
She might.
She probably will.
She probably will. They're setting her up to go.
John Stamos, what are your predictions for the season finale? No, at Chelsea, I'm sorry to say that Carl is never going. Chelsea says Carl needs to go. As much as I agree, never going to happen. They can't kill Carl.
Level, I'm ready for the next episode with Rick and Michonne. It does look like it's going to be a good one. We don't see enough of those two.
I don't care. But Rick and Michonne...
I think it'll be good. Them going out on a run, we don't see runs anymore.
Fine.
I love Eugene's character, except his whining mnemonic says, now he's going from whining to winning. So, John Stamos, what are your predictions for the season finale? All out war.
With the lead up, yes, to the next book.
Yes. But will we get a time jump is my biggest question.
I think it's going to have to be as they go into the next season. It has to be. They have to jump time.
At some point.
They're not going to... Negan's got another season in him left, I think.
He's got another probably starring season, and then...
Well, I know what happens to Negan. It's up to you guys, but it's not my fault that you haven't.
Nikita says Negan throwing the doctor on the fire, brutal.
Unexpected. Yes, we've covered it.
Short-sighted, I will add.
Yep.
You don't burn your doctor.
As a general rule.
No matter how cold
the first
it is.
commandment.
Thou shalt not burn
thy doctor.
thine doctor.
Thine doctor?
Thy
doctor. The doctor.
The doctor.
Don't burn the doctor. Right.
Sasha is on the way out. Yes, we think so, because Sonequa Martin Green has been cast in the Star Trek series. So most likely Sasha's on her way out. We'll see. Sometimes actors can juggle series.
Back and forth.
And the way that this show is structured, she hasn't been in the last couple episodes. No. So it's probably not a big deal if she's juggling different
Things
series, if the shows allow for it.
Don't think the commandments apply anymore. In the zombie apocalypse, you're probably right. The commandments don't. But the first of the new commandments is, thou shalt not burn thine doctor.
Right. We're writing them today.
We're writing them today. We'll have them in stone tablet form for you next time.
So, and I should have reminded you earlier, be sure to share, like, and follow us.
Yes.
So you can catch us next time. We're talking about The Walking Dead or anything else.
Really, could be anything.
John Stamos, do you think the show should bring back flashbacks?
No, don't care.
Would you like to see a Eugene flashback?
Oh, that actually, yes. Having been said, I would love to see Eugene. Like, what spurred Eugene to come
him being picked on as a chemistry teacher.
Yeah. Actually, this is the thing. No, it couldn't happen.
And then meeting Abraham and adventures. You bring Abraham back.
Oh, there was already a flashback where they met Abraham.
One, and that was good. That was good.
It was fun. Yeah, I just wanted you wanted to see him live his day-to-day life, just being a chemistry teacher.
We're a podcast now. Listen to the podcast. Yeah. It's everywhere podcasts are found, or you can go to podcast.essential.tv, and that will direct you. Ben, play our metal theme by Luca Signorelli.
Briefly, before Mnemonic says, I want a Negan flashback.
I think
there is.
That's all but a short.
Yeah, in the books there is a whole backstory that explains everything to do with Negan, and it's gonna be great. That will probably be the best episode.
Hang in there. Hang in there.
Yeah.
I'm talking to you, Eugene. Hang in there. We believe in you.
Okay.